A key part of being a good monster hunter is preparation. Not just what weapon or mixed armor set do you bring with you on a quest, but also what items you choose to bring with you. Because unlike in most games where it's mostly healing items, in Monster Hunter there are all kinds of powerful and useful consumables, ranging from being able to increase your damage or spend less stamina, to even stunning or damaging monsters. So with that being said, hello everyone, my name is Dark Hero, and in today's video I will be showing you all what I believe to be the most essential items that you should bring on all your quests, what are my preferred loadouts, as well as a couple of tips and hidden settings regarding the item pouch and radial menu that the game does not tell you. So if you are enjoying my guides and find them helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you have any questions, drop by my streams and feel free to ask anything. So let's go over here into the item box and let's make a brand new loadout as I tell you which are the best items to bring in which situations, and then I'll show you the different loadouts that I use for all quests. Now first things first, our item pouch has a limit of 24 items, but we can only use 20 slots as 4 of them will be taken up by specific items. And these 4 are of course going to be the Armor Talon and the Armor Charm, as well as the Power Talon and the Power Charm. You can buy the Armor Charm and the Power Charm very early on into the game after defeating Diablos from the supply vendor, and then you can buy a second copy of those items, combine them with a Basil Goose Talon to produce the Armor Talon and the Power Talon. You want to bring these 4 items on every single one of your quests, as these 2 will provide you with a plus 30 defense bonus, and these 2 will give you a plus 15 attack bonus. So now of course we need to pick up some healing items. So we're going to pick up 10 potions, 10 mega potions, a couple of max potions, and even an ancient potion. And of course we're going to be taking a full stack of honey with us, so that whenever we run out of mega potions we can simply combine the potions with the honey and have 10 more mega potions. Now of course max potions are an essential item that you want to bring on pretty much every single one of your hunts, so unless you are very early on into the game and you have enough resources, I would advise you to also take out 5 Mandragoras along with 5 Mega Nutrients so you can craft even more max potions. So now you have effectively 10 Mega Potions and 7 Max Potions, so you don't need to restock as often. But in the off chance that we do need to restock, I do advise everyone to bring a Farcaster with you at all times. Not only does it allow you to go back to camp really fast to restock, it can also be used as a get out of jail free card, like for example a Nergigante is about to dive bomb you or Teostra is doing his supernova, and you don't think you're gonna be able to quite dodge that, you can simply use a Farcaster and get the hell out of there and be safe. It's a very useful item, and as such I'm going to be keeping it here in the loadout. Now the next items on the list are going to be consumable buffs. We need something to restore our stamina, and without a shadow of a doubt Dash Juice is the best option, as not only does it restore your stamina bar, it also reduces your stamina depletion rate, so it's a perfect consumable item to bring if you use weapons like the dual blades, insect glaive, or the bow, but it can still be useful for just about any weapon. Immunizers are also some very good buffs that you can take with you that basically make it so that your health is going to regenerate faster, although they become less useful in the endgame, but let's put a pin on that as I do have a solution for that. And of course we've gotta talk about combat buffs. There are quite a few of these, each of them giving you a different temporary buff, so let's go over all of them. Let's start with the Demon Drug and Mega Demon Drug. These 2 will last throughout the entirety of the hunt, although they do overlap with each other, with Demon Drug giving you 5 attack power and Mega Demon Drug giving you 7 attack power, so basically 20% stronger. Because they last throughout the entirety of the hunt, they are a very nice buff to bring on pretty much every single quest you take, and also you don't really need to take any more than 1, so you don't have to worry about it taking up an inventory slot. So depending on how many of these you have, you can either take the Demon Drug and the Mega Demon Drug. Now as for the rest of the offensive items, we have the Might Pill, the Demon Powder, and Might Seed. So let's go over these individually and why you should only take some of them. Both the Might Seed and the Demon Powder will increase your attack power by 10 each for a total of 3 minutes. These 2 attack buffs do not overlap each other, and so they will stack together. And the Demon Powder has the benefit of also affecting your nearby teammates. So by taking both Might Seeds along with Demon Powder, you can increase your attack power by 20, which is a huge improvement. And again, they last for 3 minutes, which is plenty of time. Now the Might Pill on the other hand, it's a little bit different. By itself, it will increase your attack power by 25, which is a big deal. However, the downside is that it only lasts for 20 seconds and will overlap with the Might Seed buff. So by using the Might Pill, you are essentially gaining 15 more attack power than if you were to use the Might Seed, but it only lasts for 20 seconds. It can be very good if you're hunting with a heavy bowgun, for example, you're putting the monster to sleep often, and so you can land those very powerful wake-ups. But if you're not a speedrunner or don't have a dedicated sleep setup, where you can get the most out of this very often, I would not recommend you to take the Might Pill. And you might not want to bring the Demon Powder if you're playing by yourself, as you would not have any allies to buff with Demon Powder. As for the defensive items, Armor Skin and Mega Armor Skin work in the same way as Demon Drug, with Armor Skin increasing your defense by 15 and Mega Armor Skin increasing your defense by 25, and they last throughout the entirety of the hunt, so if you have a lot of them you can bring Mega Armor Skin, and if not, simply take the Armor Skin. And once again, only one of them will suffice, since even if you cart you can simply go back into the tent and just resupply. Now these two items, the Hard Shell Powder and the Adamant Seed, will both increase your defense by a flat 20 and will last for 3 minutes, with the Hard Shell Powder also working on your teammates. I never really take Hard Shell Powder, but I always bring Adamant Seed with me, and since these two items do the same thing, you can use those interchangeably depending on whether or not you're playing in multiplayer. Now there's actually an argument as to why you might want to take Adamant Pill with you. You see, it boosts your defense by 30% for 20 seconds. Again, 20 seconds isn't a lot of time, but the 30% defense bonus is a lot, and there are a lot of very well telegraphed attacks that the monsters do, especially some of these stronger Elder Dragons towards the end of Iceborne, so taking this Adamant Pill that you can take very quickly, just before you get hit by one of those big damaging attacks, can actually be a very good idea. And because it is not a flat defense increase, but instead it is a percentage increase, this item will actually be a lot more powerful if you have the skill defense boost, which I know not a lot of people use, but it can be a viable strategy that will help you defeat some of the tougher challenges in this game. But again, that is something that is only going to take place in some of the tougher fights, so I'm not going to make it part of this loadout, but it is very good for your consideration. Lastly, there is Life Powder and Dust of Life. These are essentially healing items that you can use in multiplayer as well, as they will heal you for a little bit, as well as any allies that are nearby. Now, you can only take 3 life powders with you on a quest, but of course you can also take 10 god bugs along with 10 blue mushrooms, and now you effectively have 13 life powders, making you that much more effective at healing your teammates if you are in multiplayer. Now that we have all of these items, we're left with only 3 different slots, so we need to be very careful about which items to add. Of course, we're going to be taking flash pods with us. I don't need to tell you why they are extremely useful. Now, the reason why I don't take flash bugs with me to create even more flash pods, it's not even that I don't want to spend a slot, it's that a lot of monsters, especially towards the endgame, simply become immune to flash pods after those being used 2 or 3 times, so there's not even a point to bringing more of them. Now, the next item on the list is of course going to be the Mega Barrel Bombs, so that whenever a monster goes to sleep, either because they leave the area and are about to die, or because your Palico has a sleep weapon or someone is playing with a bowgun and they can put the monster to sleep, it's always good to have those Mega Barrel Bombs to deal a ton of damage for a proper wake up. And as for the final slot, I like to take either a Pitfall Trap or a Shock Trap. And because we take the Demon Drug and the Armor Skin right at the start of the quest, we're going to be left with a couple of slots open, so you can, for example, take a cool drink, a ration, or an extra max potion from the blue box. Now, before we talk about my favorite loadouts and in what type of quests I like to bring them in, there is a very important detail that I want to highlight that I think gets overlooked a lot. Something that I think even returning players would appreciate or didn't even know about, as this was changed after the game's release, and so it is something that doesn't get a lot of attention. So firstly, you want to open up your options menu and go into item pouch. From here you want to press the triangle button or Y on Xbox. And now you can basically just order these items around, as the way they are sorted is a bit random. You can even press down your analog stick to basically sort them, but you may want to alter the way that this is ordered. Not only that, but there are a few items on this list that you may want to remove, as they may be useless to you. Here where it says fixed items, you can press square on the PlayStation controller, or X on Xbox, and as you can see right here, when we go back to the item bar, these items no longer show up. Sadly, you can't remove any of these items from showing up on your item list, but what you can do is to order them so that they basically come up in the right order. For example, you can make it so that the consumable items that you want to use at the very start of the hunt come up first, and you can push some of the less used items to the end of the list. Like so. And that takes us to the Radial Menu. Now there are quite a few tricks to this, it can do wonders for you, so let's go over that right now. Now of course you can have 4 different tabs of the Radial Menu, so you can add as many of these items as you want. Now here for example I have the whetstone, which is what I usually have on by default, but since I am currently equipped with the bow I can simply replace it with, for example, crafting the power coating, which I will select all so that whenever I run out of power coatings, I can simply press that button and I will have 20 more power coatings. And of course here on the Radial Menu, you want to make some of the more important items be easily available. So for example the max potion and the mega potion, the 2 more common healing items are always right here, and the 2 mantles I always have here on the bottom. And it's on the same page that I have the healing items that I also have the Farcaster, just in case I need to use it to get out of a sticky situation. In my buffs and status page, I have both the Mega Demon Drug and the Mega Armor Skin along with the Adamant Seed and Might Seed. I also have the Null Berries to remove a debuff that I get, and the Herbal Medicine to get rid of poison, and the Dash Juice and the Immunizer to get more stamina, as well as boost my health recovery. I don't really ever put many things on the left tab, and so I usually place craftable items on this tab. Down here I have both of my traps along with the Trank Bomb, so that whenever we need to capture a monster I can get it very quickly, as well as the Flash Pods and the Dunk Pod. We also have the Radar right here just because I should place it somewhere, and I'm still left with a couple of empty slots to place anything I want. One thing that you can do for example is put on the Final Fantasy emote on here, so if timed well, you can avoid incoming attacks, or you could for example put on the Witcher emote, just so you can use it more quickly on the Witcher quest. In case you don't know, you can also put on here the items that you get from the supply box, so you can still have a very quick access to those, but it's also important that you have some crafting items here, so that you have access to whatever you need. Although keep in mind that, for example, if I had run out of max potions and I already had the materials I needed to craft more max potions with me, I could simply press the max potions button and it would craft more max potions for me, so I could then use those max potions with the same press of the button. So you don't have to be sitting between radial menus, simply trying to craft and then use the same item. You can do all of that with a single press of a button. Now let me show you the different loadouts that I use and in what situations I would bring them. Now this, as the name implies, is a very basic default loadout. If you're still making your way through low rank and even high rank, I would recommend you to have a loadout that is as similar to this as possible. We have our 20 mega potions here, as well as a couple of max potions. At this point, I wouldn't expect you to have a ton of them stocked up, so you wouldn't want to run out of those by spamming them in a quest. Nullberries can be a very useful item to bring on your quest, as they will cure you from an assortment of different blights, with Dragon Blight and Ice Blight being especially present in the Iceborne expansion. You also have the Demon Drug and the Armor Skin, and on top of the Flash Pods, I also added the Dunk Pods, so that whenever there are multiple monsters in the same area, you can simply make one of them flee very easily, so things don't get messy. Now these two loadouts here, the Traps and Bombs, are what I bring on most of my hunts, depending on what I'm hunting, with the Traps one being a more basic loadout. As you can see, I added Herbal Medicine as a way to remove poison while also healing myself for a little bit, and it is also very fast to consume. I've also got both a Pitfall Trap and a Shock Trap, as well as the Trank Bombs for whenever I want to capture a monster, or for whenever it is required for quest completion. Now the Traps and Bombs loadout is a little bit different. As you can see right here, I got rid of the 10 potions and the 10 honey altogether, and now I'm left with 10 mega potions. That is because I opt to bring instead 2 max potions with the Mandragora and the Mega Nutrients, so I have effectively 7 max potions. By the time you reach endgame, you will realize that a ton of monsters simply deal way too much damage for you to spending a lot of time using mega potions. You kinda just want to heal back up to full really quickly, because otherwise you're gonna be spending way too much time healing with mega potions, so you might be missing out on some windows of opportunity to deal some big damage, and also some monsters just do not give you enough time to heal with mega potions. A lot of them will throw very fast attacks at you for a long time, and that's when having more max potions becomes essential, and so the extra ingredients for more mega potions would just be wasting space. I still have the herbal medicine on this loadout, although it is something that you can take out if you're going to be hunting monsters that don't apply poison to you. I've shown you all of these items except for these last two, which are the wet fish fin, which is just a way for you to sharpen your weapon as fast as possible. Think of it as a consumable whetstone. And finally, the great sushi fish scale. You can consume this item very quickly to get the same benefits that you would get from the immunizer, making it so that your health will naturally recover a lot faster. But not only that, it will also remove the bleed effect and will recover any health that you may have lost in the last attack. So basically it will recover your red health, which is going to turn yellow because of the immunizer effects. It's basically the same thing as the Astera Jerky, but a little bit better. And once you are in the endgame where monsters deal a ton of damage with a single hit, this can function almost as more max potions, as it will heal most of the damage that was dealt to you. This is the loadout that I bring on pretty much every single hunt that is not an Elder Dragon. And so this is the loadout that I have, that I bring with me on everything that is an Elder Dragon. And as you can see, I have removed any traps that I had since they don't work on Elder Dragons, and I have instead added 3 life powders that, along with the 10 blue mushrooms and the 10 god bugs, total in 13 life powders, so that I have more ways to heal myself or other people if I am in multiplayer, and demon powder just to have another way to increase my damage. Although sometimes I choose to remove the blue mushrooms and the god bugs, and if I'm facing a tough monster like a Latrion for example, I will bring the might pills along with adamant pills. Now you might be wondering, what about the ranged weapons? Don't you need to bring more items with those? And that is exactly right, so let's check out my ranged weapon setup. So here is my ranged weapon loadout for whenever I'm hunting a monster that can be trapped. As you can see, it has all the basic staples, including a couple of traps with the trank bombs, 2 mega barrel bombs, the basic healing items, along with the herbal medicine and the null berries. Now for the ranged weapons, of course the ingredient is going to depend on the weapon you're using. For the bow you need to take the empty files with you, but if you're playing with a bowgun that is an empty slot, and you could also opt to remove the dash juice, so that would be an empty slot as well. And then of course it's all about bringing the right coating or ammo type depending on the ranged weapon you're using. So for example, if I want to use this bow right here, which uses the power coating and the sleep coating, since I can only put 50 power coatings on the ammo and coatings tab, if I simply add 20 nitro shrooms to my loadout, I can combine those with the empty files to make 20 more power coatings. And of course the same thing goes for the sleep coating and any other ammo type that you want to bring. So it's all about deciding what items you want to remove from your loadout to add the extra ammunition you want to bring with you. If you found this loadout guide helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your fellow hunters. And if you have your own favorite loadouts or special items that you swear by, let me know in the comment section below. With that being said, good luck on all your quests, thank you very much for watching, my name is Dark Hero, and as always, happy hunting!